All right, YouTube, this is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Saturday evening about 8:08 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is going to be another episode of That Game. And I've got Mr. GM Tom C. and Mr. Mitchell, and we are coming to you via the internets and the Discord. We're going to talk about some games. And what I want to talk... Oh, first of all, I'm going to have Mitchell introduce himself. And what game are you going to be talking about?
I am Mitchell, the Raging Cajun from the Bayou Gamer, and I'm going to be talking about this little nugget here called Court of Blades.
Awesome.
It's a rather new-ish, not Powered by the Apocalypse, Forged in the Dark style game that does a few things a little bit differently, but has quickly found itself as a permanent part of my gaming shelf, which you can't see behind me behind all of my Cyberpunk/Fallout paraphernalia and screens.
All right.
And then, trust me, they're there.
All right. And then we got Mr. GM Tom C., a good buddy of mine from Arizona. What you going to talk about tonight, homie?
So we are going to be talking about the new Twilight 2000, which I kickstarted and got the whole box set. And I've been playing it since the beta. So loving the game. Apocalyptic, war, but the years is funny because it's back in the day, but we're now past it. So it's kind of fun because now you can go ahead and play nowadays.
Right.
Or back in the when Russia was supposed to be powerful.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Did you kickstart and get the Big 10? The ammo can.
Oh, I didn't do the tin. I don't know.
Oh, I did.
I'm not into that kind of stuff.
I got the ammo can and the dice and the whole nine yards. So yeah.
Yeah, I got everything but the tin.
Yeah, I like the 10. So, and it keeps it all neatly stored, so I don't have to futz with it. So cool. And then I, Mr. Mean, I picked this up tonight at Barnes and Nobles. This is the Wilderness. It's 2 books of battle maps, and I run a lot of fantasy games and I run a lot of weird games. And so these are hardback and they're spiral bound, and the point of these is they're generic, but you lay them flat. You just open them up to a scene and you lay them flat, and they've got a grid on there. So hopefully you can see that. Yeah, you can see it. They got a grid, and the 2 books are compatible, so they each have scenes that are similar or will work with each other. So like one might be a beach, with the water on one side, and the other side would be more beach. And so you can lay them next to each other and create a large 2x2 grid. So these are really, this one's done by Loke Battle Maps, and they also do, I have another book somewhere. I have so much shit. They have a big one that I did. I reached out to them, and they were nice enough to send me a demo copy, and all I had to do was pay the shipping, which was still like $18 to come, because this comes from Europe. And I liked it so much that I wanted more of these, and I was looking on Amazon, and I was looking on Miniature Market. I buy a lot of stuff off of Miniature Market, and they didn't have them for a decent price. They were going for like over $50, and I was like, Barnes and Nobles has got them for $43, $42.99. So I was like, how can I not pick these up? Because, Tom, I know you're a GM, and Mitchell, you're a GM as well, right? Yeah. So how many times have you been? The fellas come over and you're ready to play, and you're like, shit, I don't have the right battle map, or I don't have the right grid, or I don't have the right ambiance of whatever I want. And I just find that these things are just so helpful to be able to just pop them open, and they make one for like Cyberpunk. They make all different kinds. They've got one with like city streets on it and stuff, and so it's just generic. You can find whatever you want. I did the Warlock tiles. They're expensive. You got to put them all together, and inevitably your players don't really appreciate it. I mean, they come in and they go, oh, wow, that's cool. And that's it, and then, or they bypass the scene where you had the fight in the tavern all planned out, and they decide to go somewhere else, and you're like, okay, I spent 3 hours making this fucking tavern, and nobody's using it,
You moved the tavern.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, we want to go to the armory, and you're like, but I made a tavern. Well, yeah, but we're going to go to the armory. I don't have an armory, I have a tavern, and so now the tavern becomes an armory, and you hastily, it's just, and while I love the interclick stuff and how it clicks together, and it's all painted in 3D and it looks great on the table, it looks amazing. For my own peace of mind and my own serenity, and the fact that I don't snap and kill all of my players physically in the real world, this works really well for me. And it's wet and dry erase. You can put the little clingies, the little static cling stickers on them. So if you got like the representation of like a table and a bookshelf and stuff, a mimic, you can put all those on there and they work as well. So it's very versatile, very easy to use, and like I said, Barnes and Nobles has got them, and everybody's got a Barnes and Nobles. You got a book stand in Lake Charles, Mitchell, or is it, what's it called?
Books a Million.
Books a Million.
Barnes and Noble does ship.
And Barnes and Noble ships, yeah. So like I said, I found it on Amazon and it was like $50-something. I found it on Miniature Market. They didn't have the one I wanted. I wanted the Wilderness one because you always need wilderness shit. And the next set I'm going to get is the Taverns in Town, and it's just like this. It's a pack for $43, and it has the 2 books that will make a 2x2 square, which is usually more than big enough for when you're playing a fantasy game or whatever. So yeah, for me that's what inspires me, is I can pop it open and I can just start playing. I can throw some terrain on it if I want, and we're good to go. And I don't have to get the generic white tiles that look fugly, or I don't have to sit there and put together the tavern with the warlock tiles, and then everyone goes, we want to go to the armory, and you're like, and now your terrain that you spent 2 hours making is worthless. So, or you ramrode them into the tavern. No, you're going to the tavern, damn it. So, and that's no fun for anybody. So yeah, so Mitchell, talk to us about that Blades in the Dark style game.
So I, like many others, have started role-playing with the standard Pathfinder, D&D, and such, and did that for many, many years. And by that I mean around 10 or so.
Baby.
But I always felt like there was something missing, and that's actually where what inspired Blades in the Dark, which was powered by the Apocalypse, came into being. And that was the idea of fiction first, something that finally kind of pushed role-playing games into the proper fictional stuff instead of being still shackled to that wargaming ancestry that it had, while still, something over here. If you want all your tactical stuff, that's still all well and good over there. But from powered by the Apocalypse and such, that came Blades in the Dark and many other things, and it came up with this idea of, most of the things that your players do, they're kind of like heists anyway. Go into the dungeon, you're going to go kill the bad guy for whatever reason, and it does all this, but it gets rid of all the things that you really don't need. You don't really need all that stuff in your inventory, and so you can just call it out. And that was something that really spoke to me about the ability to do what you see in books and TV and movies and such, all like that. It's like you always have that moment, but there's always room for improvement. And that's where this particular wonder kind of comes in. Originally, I was going to be talking about the Avatar RPG, which was powered by the Apocalypse, which is also doing something similar, but thanks to worldwide shipping problems and creation and such, all like that, everything's been delayed. So my book is still currently, I believe it's currently in California, still being printed.
It's not sitting on a boat somewhere?
It's not sitting on a boat. It's still on a queue to be printed. It was a long queue. But Court of Blades, which is what I'm talking about, is one of the newer Forged in the Dark systems, or hacks, if you want to call it, that changes things a little bit. And there's a little bit of a lineage that goes into this. There was originally the Blades in the Dark, which was very gritty, there's a lot of consequence in that one, but then it also got hacked in 2 different ways, also still by the same guys, where we created Scum and Villainy, a more space opera type that really toned down a lot of the extra grittiness, but went more for the action and such like that. And there was another that went real into the action, which was Band of Blades.
Great game, I have it myself.
Very good. It's also, you could really do some incredible action scenes with Band of Blades. From the inspiration of those 2 comes Court of Blades, a fantasy Renaissance style game based around inspirations that I myself loved from whenever I was a child. Things like Three Musketeers, Zorro, just the Italian Renaissance. I live down here in Cajunville, and we got this thing called Mardi Gras. And if anybody's ever seen Mardi Gras, it's like, yeah, no, that's basically the Renaissance style of dressing and everything like that, from the music, the partying, all of that stuff. It's like, it's still alive. It's just, you gotta find it. And it really spoke to me. I was like, I've always wanted this. I wanted the dueling. I wanted the panache. I wanted that swashbuckling core. And it really did this. So that's kind of the lore out of the way for how this came to be. But the mechanics that really changed it up is that each archetype that you play, have your playbooks, which is very easy to create the characters. God, it's so easy to create these characters. I remember back in the day where being first games I ever played for role playing was D&D 3.5. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people who have horror stories of trying to create a proper character in 3.5, especially if you were playing a magic user. Oh my God, rules on rules on rules.
So that's the point of this game, is it's very rules light, right? Because it's very similar to Powered by the Apocalypse. It's a storytelling
everything
system.
done by Powered by the Apocalypse is designed with this simplicity in mind. Basically, it's like the simple to learn, hard to master kind of thing. It gives you a level of simplicity for how you do things, but it gives you the ability to apply them to a wide variety. So instead of needing like a very specific skill or item and such like that, it's you have options, and each of those options modify how you can go about doing things.
Well,
which does
the thing about that game is, tell me why you like it. I don't need a rundown of the game because I own the game. But tell me why you like it. What inspires you about it?
The fiction first idea. In so many role-playing games before this point, if you ever fail a roll, even in the rules itself, it is hard-coded. You fail, it stops. The story is paused until somebody else can find some way to succeed it. In these type of games, Powered by the Apocalypse, Forged in the Dark, if you fail, it's always in a way that continues to move the narrative forward. Something is always happening, and that is explicitly stated in the rules, which is a huge help for people who are brand new to game mastering.
We call it failing forward.
Yes. Beginner game masters and also beginner players, they need to hear this. Because so many people think, like, oh, I'm going to fail. And so they changed how their character acts, they changed how they play, like in any kind of show or movie. Even when the main characters are failing, it's moving it forward, it's building to the crescendo. And that's the biggest thing that I loved about these type of books, or this type of rule system, is the ability to explicitly state that. And then the reason I loved Forged in the Dark more than Powered by the Apocalypse so much is the sheer ability to just have it be customized. In Powered by the Apocalypse, you are very rigid in what you do. You have your move there clearly defined, but in Forged in the Dark, everything is very open. This allows for a lot of roleplay between
the next step in the rule set, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The players have say in that.
Yeah, the players have agency. Like in deal with. So the main thing of those Powered by the Apocalypse and Forged in the Dark games and Monster of the Week and Dungeon World and Apocalypse Inc. All those games, what they have in common is the players have agency. They have a say in the narrative. Whereas like in D&D or Pathfinder or even Twilight 2000, you roll the dice. Oh, I missed. It's done. This is a shared story. There's no other repercussion except for the fact that you missed. Now, role players, ROLE, will okay, I swing at the goblin and he ducks under, so I spin around and on my next action I'll try to kick him in the kneecap. That's agency, right? You're telling the GM, yeah, I missed, I understand I missed, but here's what I'm going to do next. And unfortunately,
it goes beyond that.
Yeah.
It actually, because of the way you're describing it and because of the role, it also sets up how everything else responds around you.
Right. The most powerful word the GM has in those type of games is "and."
Yes.
And it even tells you in the book. And so whatever the player does, the GM's response is "and." unless you're ready to
the
end the scene, for whatever reasons. And it's a
and
great. If you've never played one of those games, I highly recommend you go to a convention or you find one of your friends, or even if you're new to GMing, you pick it up. The flexibility, like what Mitchell's talking about, is just if you like, Dungeon World is probably the best one for fantasy. If you're a D&D player and you've never played those type of games,
it's the
Dungeon World,
easiest introduction
it's the
to
easiest
the system
introduction. I
if you're
think
a D&D
Monster
or
of the Week
Pathfinder
is
player.
another good one. Monster of the Week is a really good one as well. That very much has a really great GMing section, and I think it's good for even if you're like a Pathfinder GM or a Twilight 2000 GM or a Warhammer GM. Those books are still good to read because it takes the perspective of telling a story. In D&D esque games, we kick in the door to the dungeon, we kill the monsters, we take the treasure, we move to the next dungeon. That is the expectation of the game. If we get some awesome role playing in there where we have some emotions or we have feelings or we even have some agency, hey, that's great. But
that's the cherry on top.
Right. I've been doing this for close to 40 years, and I can tell you in the early days, all we cared about was, how much XP did I get?
And what loot did we get?
Number
and
go
what loot
up.
did we get? And one of the things I did that, what was the first game that did it? I think it was Powered by the Apocalypse that said, don't worry about XP. Level the players up when they're ready. And so, like in all my games now, I run Pathfinder quite frequently, and I run Warhammer. I don't give XP. I tell them when they level up.
Yeah, the milestone.
Yeah, I do the milestone. Because especially in Pathfinder, and I have found over the years, and I've been using milestone for years. I did it when I ran Cyberpunk 2020. It takes the emphasis off the player's attitude that I have to kill everything the GM throws at me because I need the experience to get to the next level so I can get better. Whereas if you take that away, oh, Tom, you killed the dragon. Great, how much XP do I get? Do I level up? I don't hear that anymore. What I hear is, wow, we killed a dragon. We are amazing. Let's go look at the loot and let's see what we're going to do. And I'm going to start building a fortress and I'm going to get followers. And, and they're more invested in the story than invested in how much XP they get or how much loot they get. So, yeah, games like that, Mitchell, are amazing because they really, and you can become a really tight group and tell some amazing stories and have a lot of fun. So what is the name of that one again?
This is called Court of Blades.
And it's actually physically out because I see you obviously have the book.
Yes, there is also
it?
a print-on-demand version. You can easily find it on the website from the publication company itself, which is... a couple of drinks.
A couple of drinks, nice. And it's basically turn of the century, like 17th century or something like that.
This is like 1600s, a little bit before. It's like this is going from the Renaissance era to the golden age of piracy.
Okay,
this will
perfect.
easily carry you through.
Nice. All right, cool. Well, that is awesome, man. That's cool. I can see why you like that. That is. I have the PDF of it. I don't physically have the book. Tom, you're gonna tell us now that you see how we do it.
Yeah.
You're gonna.
I would like to say this as one thing to anyone who listens. From something I learned from an older GM, never be afraid to give your players as much rope as they wish to hang themselves with.
Oh, yeah. The best thing a GM can do is say yes. I'll give you that +3 holy vorpal sword of dragon slaying, but every fucking dragon in the world is going to come gunning for you. I hope you, there's an old saying, my daddy used to say, be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. So be careful. So Tom, tell me why you love Twilight 2000.
So I am a military fan. Never was in the military, could never be in the military, but I just love the theme. I'm always intrigued about it. And when I was in high school, we played the original Twilight 2000. Sat around a table, made characters. We got some mobile artillery thing.
Ran out of gas.
No, we came up against a town and saw some guys, so we decided we were going to go and investigate. So we all jump off the vehicle, get into this ravine, and we didn't know it at the time. We got spotted. So the enemy came up over the ridge, and back then, version 1 was just deadly, and we pretty much died.
Yeah.
The whole party. And it was like,
one well
whoa,
placed
let's
grenade.
try that again.
Yeah. Twilight 2000 was up there for me with Mark Miller's Traveler. Traveler, you could die in character creation. And Twilight 2000 wasn't far off. You could die in the very first mission, so I have some fond memories. I played, I did serve in the military. I've been in 2 theaters of war, and it's funny because now me personally, I don't feel that the new version of Twilight captures the feeling of combat. But that being said, that is my point of view. I also suffer from PTSD, so I don't like realistic games because it's a trigger for me. It brings back, horrible memories of things that I had to do while I was in the military. So I'm not looking at it, from wide-eyed in wonderment like you are. Now, why did I back it? Well, because I've served in 2 theaters of war, and I'm a military guy. My dad was a Vietnam vet. My grandfather was a World War II vet. My family's had a long history of serving in the military. So I backed it because I backed it for that reason, because there's hardly any games out there that do service to the military in a positive light. And I think Twilight 2000 is one of those games that does. I think it, and I know there's a lot of veterans out there that play it because it helps them cope with their PTSD, or it helps them cope with the issues that they have assimilating to civilian life. Because I know when I got out of the military, I had a hard time, and if it wasn't for role-playing games in and of themselves, I don't think I'd be sitting here right now. So, that's a testament to the power of role-playing and what it can do for you. So I appreciate guys like you that appreciate the military, and and you're a fan of the theater of war, and and all that stuff. So supporting a game like Twilight 2000, I think, is awesome. So I'm just disappointed in you that you didn't get the 10, because it looks like an ammo can. It was pretty cool. I have it in the back over there in the corner. I should break it out. But yeah, the books are. I was a little bummed that the books weren't hardback though.
I actually like that.
Now after having it and played with it,
it's much easier
you can lay them
deal
flat.
with.
You don't have to worry about scratching them up or nicking them up or anything. But there's just that thing in me that I want a hardback book, And I think after the Kickstarter, they did come out with an option to get a hardback.
You get the hardback GM guide.
I have it. Yeah.
In the head when
It'll stop
make
a 45. It'll stop a 45 or a D20 being thrown at you. Yeah. So are you GMing it or are you playing it?
Right now, I'm playing it in a number of online games.
Right.
But I GM'd it for a while with my home group, but we kind of switch off GMing and run a scenario. Right now, the other GM in the group is running Warhammer, and then my future plans is Kingmaker. So I'll be running the Kickstarter Kingmaker when it comes out in about a month and a half.
Kingmaker, is that the Pathfinder?
Yeah.
For 2nd edition, or is it 1st edition?
2nd edition.
So they're remake. They are. I saw the Kickstarter, but I didn't back it.
So they did it for both. The rule set is for either 5e or PF2, but they also had the option to get all the monsters converted to 1e also. So if you wanted to run it in 1, you could.
Well, it was originally a 1st edition Pathfinder adventure path, and a computer game for those that don't know.
And they added a lot of the elements from the computer game back into the adventure path.
Yeah. Now, Mitchell, do you play any other like standard games like D&D, Pathfinder, or do you just play like the Powered by the Apocalypse type games?
Actually, I'm actually not been playing a lot of standard stuff. The current game I'm playing in actually is a very old game, which I had thought about talking about. Have you ever heard of Sengoku?
Oh yeah, the original, the master of L5R.
Yeah. It's a wouldn't say generic because it's not. It's a classless, level-less
Yeah.
the system. Based in feudal Japan. It was written by two Japanese historians who loved the material.
Yeah.
So if you ever wanted to actually get some actual proper lore concerning Japan instead of the stuff L5R will push forward as authentic.
L5R is not Japan. Now let's get that correct. It's
Well, yeah.
Rokugan, which is influenced from the Philippines, all the Asian and Indian cultures. So John Wick is a personal friend of mine, so
yeah,
I can tell you
no,
stories
I know
about.
of them and such like that. I know what they did. Their PR team, on the other hand, says something a little bit different. But then again, you know, I'm sure you've been in the industry long enough to know that the PR team and the developers don't always see the same. Yeah, two different people.
Well, hence why John Wick doesn't work for AEG anymore.
Exactly.
Basically, he was forced out the door, but that's neither here nor there.
I have some friends in the industry who know of that particular bit of drama,
well, John Wick.
Let's just say I'm glad he got out.
He's a particular kind of person too. So
yeah.
Why don't you tell us how you really feel?
Well, I mean, I think you already know the story. So
yes, I do.
John Wick used to be my roommate.
Really, I did not know this.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I went through my divorce, he needed a place to stay, and so I had the house that me and my ex-wife lived in, and well, there's two fun stories, and don't get me wrong, he was a great guy. I love him to death, and every time I see him, I give him a big hug. But the guy could just type. I mean, he's a wordsmith. He is a master of the keyboard, and he had his little computer, and he had a mechanical keyboard, and you know, I got to get up and go to work in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, and all I hear is click, 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 you know, on his keyboard. And so I came home, and I said, he came through the door, and I said, okay, here's what's going to happen. Tonight, before you go to bed, you're going to go out and buy a silent keyboard. Because if you don't, you're going to wake up tomorrow morning with that keyboard shoved up your ass. And I went to work, and when I came home on the dining coffee table or whatever, the breakfast nook that we had, there was the empty box of the Microsoft Quiet Touch keyboard. And that night, I knew he was awake because I could see the light on his room, but I didn't hear any keyboard. So yeah, and then the other one was, my ex-wife decided she wanted the house back, and so I moved out, and I told him he had to move out, which sucked for both of us, and he was pretty good. He cleaned the place up. He did great, but he kind of stuck me with an electric bill. You know, and in Arizona, Tom can tell you the electric bills are not cheap, and $300-400 is average for a lot of people. I've heard electric bills up in the $700-800 mark for summertime, and we had a decent electric bill. And he moved out, and I couldn't get a hold of him. But he was at a convention, and I saw him. I got a hold of him, and I said, when I see you at the next convention, I don't want a hello, I don't want a hi, how are you? I want you to walk up and put the money you owe me in my hand, or I'm going to rip your face off. And so come the next convention, he comes walking through the door. He sees me. He makes a beeline and puts money in my hand, doesn't say a word, turns around and leaves. You know, so he's a good guy. He paid his bills. You know, he did what he had to do. So, yeah. But he.
What did we beta test for him? I always wonder about that. I can never remember. You know how I am with names.
Hold on, I've got it right here.
This game was the first game that kind of brought me into. Mitchell, what you're talking about in style of games, because I've always played D&D, Shadowrun,
Houses of the Blooded.
Yeah, and that was such an odd game because I've never played a game like that. So I had to sit back, but it was a blast playing it.
Yeah, and the rules in this is very much where Powered by Apocalypse got its grounding from. This was all about wagering and narrative storytelling. Like, you just didn't tell John, oh, I want to hit the guy. He wanted to know how you hit the guy, you know, and then you would wager, and then you'd wager back and forth. And, yeah, and, I mean, my name's even in the book. The Duchy of Go dot 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 Go dot 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 Go because he couldn't say the name, and it's Tom Calpin, John Polak, Darren Schmidt, and Ben Werner. We were some of the playtesters for this, so yeah, it's
Oh, it was fun. It was a
yeah,
fun game.
it was. John is a commensurate storyteller. He is amazing. He can really invoke some very strong emotions. And he's a great game master. So he works now for Chaosium. They're in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I can kind of see how his game design changed along the point where I think his current game that he has out now is 7th Sea Second Edition.
Yeah, well, and he's also doing a lot of work on Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, he's working on a Cthulhu game now.
Yeah, well, he's working with Chaosium. So, in all their games. So, Delta Green, Call of Cthulhu. I forgot that they've got another Agents of Black or something. I don't remember. He's got a ton, but yeah, he did his Kickstarter for 7th Sea, and I don't know the full story, but I think he overcommitted and was, they backed all these books. It was, at the time, it was the #1 grossing Kickstarter for an RPG.
Yeah, I remember.
And Monty Cook has since blown him out of the water. But the point is that no Kickstarter had ever raised that much money. So he started a company, rented some office spaces, but it was, the rumor I heard, and it's strictly a rumor, please don't hold my feet to the fire, but I heard it was mismanagement of money. And and a lot of people went unpaid. And some people still don't have their books that they backed, and stuff like that. So the guys, he's good friends with all the bigwigs over at Chaosium. And so they kind of stepped in and kind of bailed him out and helped him out to get the books published and everything so that he could meet the demands that he had promised to keep his name in good standing with the community. And from the last I heard, he's doing well at Chaosium, so that's good. I'm glad he landed on his feet.
Yeah, I'm happy for him.
Yeah, and he makes. I mean, 7 Seas is an awesome. If you like pirates and you like the Spanish Main and all that, that's Eisenhower, the Eisenfaust. I love them. Panzerfaust.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know anybody quite nearly as big name as that, but I am personal friends with Craig Shealy, who worked on Car Wars and with Pondsmith in creating Cyberpunk 2020.
Mike is a longtime friend of mine. Mike and I we used to call ourselves the mirror opposites because he's black, obviously, and he has a white wife, and at the time I'm white and I had a black wife. And we both had kids that are the same age. So, Mike is super cool. In fact, he was supposed to come on the show, but he's big time now, now that he's doing stuff with CD Projekt Red. His media representative reached out to me, gave me a free copy of Cyberpunk Red, which was nice. I enjoyed it. It's PDF. I enjoyed it. But he's like, Mike's, traveling between here and Poland, and so he doesn't really have a lot of free time, and stuff like that. So but he said he was going to come on the show, but I haven't heard from him since, and I haven't. In all fairness, I haven't followed up. So I have a hard enough to, anybody who thinks running a YouTube channel is easy, you should try it. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It's not. I've been wanting to do it, and it's a monumental task.
Yeah. Well, it's not easy to sit here and talk to a camera and be animated and, not be boring. You can drone on about something for hours, but nobody's going to want to watch it. So I'm grateful for my followers. I got a couple Patreon, members that support me, and some of them have been with me for 2-3 years now. So, but it's my hobby, and I enjoy doing it. And like I said, it kind of helps with the sanity, so to speak, or lack thereof. But Tom can tell you. Tom played in a couple of my games.
Oh yeah. Hey John, give me 1 second. Let me put this dog out real quick, and I'll be right back. I'll be listening in. I'm just going to mute myself.
No worries. So Mitchell, do you go to the con down there in Lake Charles? The what is it called?
It just finally reactivated, and I didn't go. Thanks to a number of things, my lungs are damaged, and I can't risk COVID. It's actually lethal for me, unfortunately. And a lot of the people down here still don't believe in masks and vaccines.
Oh, I know. Well,
like that.
We came back. We just, like I said, we came back the 4th of July, and me, my wife, and my 5-year-old, all three had COVID. So,
yeah.
And I'm absolutely positive we caught it on the airplane because you're sitting in a metal tube breathing recycled air All it takes
Yeah.
is one person to have it, and you're
Just one. And they don't even have to know that they have it. All the
Exactly.
symptoms are basically the common cold, so they can just think like, oh no, it's
I
just
just
a
got
little
a
sniffle.
cold. Yeah. No, we all got. My wife got it pretty bad. It was her first time. That was my second time. It was much milder the second time. It just felt like a bad cold. I was stuffy for a day, but I wasn't. I mean, I had some aches. The hardest part was the fatigue. It's been 2 weeks now, and I still have the fatigue going. I'm still like I get tired real easy, you know. But then again, I'm in the age bracket that COVID kills you. So, you know.
Yeah,
You know, you laugh, but I am, 55 and over. So, but I've had it twice now. So, my mom used to say you can't kill crabgrass.
that's
So, I'm like
That's
a red
such a
ant
southern
nest.
statement.
You can pour gasoline on me, but I'm gonna come back. So, yeah. Let's take a quick 5-minute bio break. Probably less than
Okay.
that. I'm gonna go get a drink, and we'll come on back. So. We'll hold off for a second. We'll be right back, folks. We're going to pause. What?
I was standing in front of him, so he's like, you go, you do it. I was trying to get his attention, but he was obviously it ain't working.
Yeah, it ain't working. He ain't having it.
We have a new friend joining us.
Hey, Pepper.
Yep. She'll sit here with me now and
The
just
heckin'
chill.
good boy.
That's just she doesn't try to bite my mic. She doesn't understand what it is. Ah.
Well, it's a snack.
It's new. Must put it in mouth.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah, that's the 10. So,
I've heard of this game, the Twilight 2000 and such,
Oh,
but
this
I have
is
no
a
idea the
classic,
mechanics
buddy.
or anything. But like John, I didn't serve 2 tours. I served 1, if you can even call it that, before I had to be shipped back home.
See,
But,
I'm the opposite of John. I like the new system because they drum it down, and it's just a simple system. It kind of doesn't, like, the way they handle ammo and all is kind of not as real life. Like, you can't control how many shots you shoot. It's
Okay.
randomized by your D6s.
Okay, 'cause
Don't
the
get me wrong,
other
it's not a
system I
bad
used that was kind
mechanical
of
system.
really tactical and stuff like that was the old Fantasy Flight Games Warhammer Only War, which I still have over there.
Well, that's
I
a
was
board
lucky enough
game,
to get
though.
a hold of it.
That's if you talk to any of us Warhammer purists, that Warhammer from Fantasy Flight was a board game. It was not. Most true Warhammer people don't consider that a Warhammer game, which is same because it was pretty cool. I did. There were aspects of it that I really enjoyed. I didn't like the little tracker where it was like what was it, anger and passion or what there was, and you moved up and down the little tracker and everybody had their own track. There was too much fiddly bits, and they didn't have a character sheet. They had the little card, but I mean it was and then they eventually
I don't
did
think
come
that's
out with
Only
character-
War.
Oh no, Only War. That's the one where that's Fantasy Flight.
That's the
That's
yeah,
the percentage-based game. Yeah, I have that.
yeah.
Yeah, and Inquisitor.
That's the Guardsman.
Yeah, that's the Guardsman. That was a pretty cool game. And then there was the Chaos one. What was it called?
Funnily enough, despite being a Warhammer fan, I don't actually want to play ever really as Space Marines. I don't actually like playing as
Well, they're gods. Why would
vanilla
you want
characters.
to? I mean, the only other thing that you can fight is gods. A band of heretical guardsmen, come traitor guards come up. You just stomp them. They got nothing that can hurt you, you know, unless it's a huge, heavy weapon that takes three of them to fire it, and they can't even move it, as fast as you can move. You're 9 feet tall in ceramite armor. You're a god. And they're ants. So yeah, that part is no fun. But yeah, this was a fun Kickstarter, man, and Free League delivered on time, and did everything they said they were going to do. So I definitely had no problems with it.
Now, have you seen the new rules for the Urban book?
No, I haven't kept up with it.
Oh, okay. Somebody's testing it and just today posted some of the rules that he got permission to.
Oh, nice.
So it's all indoor combat. They're going to change this to zones.
Oh, nice.
Some new rules on in close fighting. A long-term scenario.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of little rules, which I'm looking forward to. And the only thing they still haven't delivered on is Black Madonna.
Yeah.
They haven't.
That's the adventure,
we're
right?
still waiting. Correct.
Yeah.
That
campaign, right? It's not just an adventure; it's a campaign, right?
No, it's more an adventure.
It's just straight up adventure. Yeah.
Yeah, Twilight. They built their modules to be able to fit into your theme. So it's not like Pathfinder where here in this room is this character and
right.
It's not steamrolled. It's more here's about the area. Here's the primary characters. Here's some suggested things that you can run, and you as a GM get to narrate it how you want, which is kind of how I like it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I hadn't gone through this since I originally got it. I didn't play it, but I read it. I stayed up all night reading it, and I was like, the combat system just didn't spark me. But I can see how people like it because it is relatively fast. But it just wasn't my cup of tea. But I'm glad I have it. I love the box. Presentation is king, man.
Yeah.
And I mean everything is in there. And there's room for Black. Are they sending us Black Madonna separately? Obviously, or is it only going to be a PDF?
I think it's PDF only.
Oh, okay. But I could print it and put it in here.
Yep.
So, because I'm a big fan of printing books and turning them into, spiral bounding. You know that. I've done that for years.
I've got a bunch of them. I did that for Shadowrun.
Yeah. Are you still playing Shadowrun?
No, I haven't played that since I went to Gen Con 5 years ago. Was the last time I played it?
Shadowrun, not good.
I
think it's 5th edition.
6th edition.
I played 4th. I like 4th.
Yeah.
That's the primary way I played.
What did we play?
5th edition's got so many mechanical problems. Holy shit.
Well, if you ask me personally, the whole game has mechanical problems, but, we used to play...
3rd or 4th edition. I can't remember which one it was.
I want to say it was 3rd that we played. But Gary and his friend, are they still...
Oh, I don't know. I'm not in. And then Jay.
Yeah.
You played with Jay, right?
Yeah.
So the best was
crazy.
we were doing character development, we'll say, and I was trying to get a feel of what their characters were. And I looked at Jay and I said, Jay, what kind of places is your troll like to hang out? And he was like, fast food, like fine dining. And I said, what do you mean by fine dining? He's like, Outback. Like, that ain't high-end. Oh, some of the days. And that was my first experience of telecommuting, playing, because one of our players, he had congestive
heart failure, right?
Lung.
That was the guy that played online, right?
Yeah, so he used to play in real life, so he would come with his oxygen tank and all, but it got to the point where his lungs was only at 20%, and he had to go back and live with his mom to try to get on disability so he can get a lung transplant. So we continued playing. I would put him up on the big screen TV,
Boy, that was
and I
back
got
in
my
the
little
day.
little computer camera, and we would show him the map, and we had a mic in the room, and it worked out. We had fun.
Yeah.
It was a blast.
We would play.
Mark.
Mark, yeah. Is he still alive or?
No, he ended up getting pneumonia while he was waiting for his lung transplant
Sorry
and
to hear that,
passed.
man. Yeah. Because you and I fell out of touch for quite a while. It wasn't until Discord, I think, that you got back in touch with you, right?
Yeah, I was doing something. Something came across, and I was like,
I know that guy.
I was like, damn, whatever happened to him? And we got disconnected on Facebook.
Right.
So I had to find you on Facebook again. And then I messaged you, and then you were like, dude, I don't do Facebook. I'm like, Discord. And I was like, all right, what's your Discord handle? I'll connect with you.
Yeah, but I think you found my YouTube channel, right? I think that's...
I don't... No. You sent that to me on Facebook. You're just like, I don't do Facebook. I'm over here. And so
well, I
that's
got
when
off of
connected with
Facebook
you.
for years. I was off of Facebook
Yeah.
for like 3 years. Because I was done the toxicity and all the bullshit. I was just like,
It's all ads now.
Yeah, it's all. Well, I posted this the other day. I spend more time hiding ads on Facebook than I do looking at Facebook. And the only reason I have it is for my YouTube channel, because it does bring a certain amount of, people to it from Facebook, and then I get to post. I get more exposure on the Facebook groups, because I'm on several different groups, obviously, and then I have the Mr. Mean Speaks group. But Mitchell, how did you find me?
We met in person. We went to a convention together.
Did we? I don't even remember.
We went
I meet
to
so many people.
Wizard World New Orleans before it shut down.
What was it?
Wizard World New Orleans, also called MechaCon.
Oh, Mecca, that's right. I was there with
Brandon.
Brandon, yeah. He moved.
Yeah, he's
Sold his house and he moved.
Yeah, he's up in Portland now?
I think so, yeah. He worked for the local Lake Charles channel. He was there for years, and then they did him dirty. And
he worked for the Fox
affiliate, yeah.
channel.
Yeah, Channel 4 or something, 44, or I don't remember.
Something like that. It was the local Fox News broadcast
in Lake
station.
Charles, and he worked there for years. I mean, like literally right out of college, he got a job, and he was with them for probably like 12 years or something, and they just dicked him.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and I mean,
he was the one in charge of figuring out all the different commercial stuff and all that.
I mean, he had an important job, and they were always calling him because he knew how to work everything, and then they had a change of management or something, and they just fucking shit canned him, and he was laid off for quite a while, and I don't know what he was doing for work.
I don't remember, but I do know he got a really lucky break, and that managed to get him out.
Yeah, and I know he moved to, I think it's Portland. I saw him on Facebook, but I don't think we're friends. He's like a friend of a friend kind of deal. So so I appreciate you guys for taking the time to chit chat with me. We've been doing it for about an hour, so I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm glad to hear about I'm getting fuzzy. Like I said, that fatigue hits in right around 9 o'clock, man, and I am just ready for bed.
That's what happens when we turn 50.
55.
Well, it starts at 50.
It starts at 50.
So you're 5 years ahead of me.
Oh, man, I feel old. But I'm blessed. I can afford my hobbies. I got a healthy kid, got a healthy wife. I'm relatively healthy. I got friends my age that are taking 20 pills a day just to get up in the morning. I don't take anything, so I'm happy. I got good friends to hang out with on chat, and they like watching my stupid ass talk about inane shit, So,
anytime I need to pop a squat, I just turn your stuff on. Helps it go right quick.
Oh man, that's hey, you know what? I'll take it. At least I'm helping. I'm helping, right? Somebody called me an asshole, and I said, hey, at least I'm the productive part, So, yeah, but cool, Tom. Thanks for telling us about Twilight 2000. Thanks for coming on the channel. It's
Yeah.
you're a silent lurker in the background a lot of times, but I know you're super busy with your kids, and you got a new puppy now, which is adorably cute. I'm getting hungry just watching
There's
it.
the little dog. Right? Say I'm sleepy.
What's his name?
Her name is Harley Grace.
Harley Grace. Why?
Uh, well, that's the first part, and then it's Harley Grace of something something, because she's a
So basically,
registered.
your wife and the daughter is named the dog.
Yes.
You had no say
Yes.
in it.
No, because so I don't know if you remember, I don't know if you know the story, but when I met my wife, she had a dachshund, and the first time I saw it, I thought it was a pig
Because it was
because
so fat.
it was so heavy that its belly was rubbing on the ground. So once I got into the picture and was staying, I renamed the dog from Sedona to Pigger. So the dog's name became Pigger
Oh, nice.
from that point on. So,
Horrible person, Tom. Horrible person.
oh no, that's the kind of names.
And God, how
But
long have you been married now? Because
just about 20 years.
yeah, wow, it's a long
Tell
time.
me about it. It goes super fast.
I know it's you blink and you should see Jonathan now, man. He's got a beard, mustache. That's my oldest son is 22 years old. Yeah.
Is he still up here?
No, yeah, he's in Arizona.
Yeah.
His mom finally went full batshit crazy and told him he was working and told him that she needed half his paycheck. And I told him, I said, well, if you want my opinion, if it was up to me, I'd guide 2 or 3 of my friends. I'd find an apartment and tell her to get bent. And so that's what he did. And he called me one day and he's like, Dad, guess what I just did? And I'm like, what? He's like, I just moved the last box out of the house. And I'm like, good for you. So, but yeah, he's doing good. He's still in school. He'll be a perpetual student for life. He just likes that.
What's he graduate? What's his degree in?
I think he's got a bachelor in business management or business administration, but he's going for a master's in finance or something. So,
Cool.
yeah, he's
That's not a
smart
bad
as
idea. It opens a lot of
he's
doors.
smart. You know, he got the common sense. Well, he doesn't have common sense, but he's got all the book smarts. You know, he's a good kid, and I guess his girlfriend just moved in with him. She's pretty. He called me and wanted to brag, so that was pretty cool. And,
That's cool. I was wondering how he was doing.
yeah, he's doing real good. So, and then Norby, you see him in the videos every once in a while, so he's a little beast. So,
Oh yeah, I see him on Facebook when you go to all your meals.
yeah, we eat out. We eat out at least once or twice a week. Usually on the weekends because I'm tired. I'm a warehouse manager now. I got out of IT. And
Oh really?
Yeah, oh yeah. I've been out of IT for a year now. So
March.
yeah, a lot of less stress, man. I mean, I manage a warehouse, but that's not hard. I got 2 guys. I got a forklift operator and an iron worker that move all the heavy stuff. So I just go do this, do that, and then I do all the computer work that has to be done. We use Oracle as a supply chain management tool, and
Cool.
yeah, I really like my job, and my boss is phenomenal. So it's great. And then my old IT boss, he plays in my Pathfinder or my Warhammer game. And then the
Oh,
guy
that's funny.
and the guy that used to work for me, Bobby, he plays in my Warhammer game too. So yeah, it's pretty cool, man. We Mitchell, you're down there in the big. Well, you're in Iway. There's nothing in Iway.
Yeah, no, this is rabbit country.
Yeah.
I'm a hop, skipping, and a jump
How
away
do
from
you
the
game?
bayou.
You just game online, I take it, because of your health situation.
What do you mean? Just came online?
Role playing? You do it online, or
Yeah,
yeah?
it's almost
you don't have
exclusively
people
online.
over to the house. I
No,
assume that can't be.
haven't been able to do that in a couple of years.
Yeah. Hey, with Foundry, Tom did you find Foundry through me?
No, I found it through Twilight.
Oh, you
Actually, that because Twilight
They supported Foundry.
that was
yeah.
the VTT was Foundry.
Yeah.
So originally we were playing a Roll20, and then I joined a Foundry game, and I was like, this is really cool. I like this. And I would talk to them and I'd be like, hey, how does this all work? And then I started seeing it for Pathfinder. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna get it and start playing with it. And then I invited the other GM into my thing, and it's like, dude, you got to check this out. So he's like, you really like it? And he's like, oh, he had so much fun. Like, we beat down some sterling fish, and when we were beating him down, he was leaving blood trails all over the map.
Yep.
And we're like, oh, this is cool
The
stuff.
splatter, yeah.
Yeah.
And it gets the more damage you do to him, the more splatter it does.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
that's why I was getting all over the place.
That's the thing. If you learn how to work Foundry, and it doesn't take a lot to learn it. If you don't have to be a programmer, you just have to know where to install the modules, and it's pretty simple. I mean, it kind of walks you through it, and you just have to learn how to enable them, and then you just learn whatever the part of the game is you want. Mitchell, there's a really good Blades in the Dark hack for Foundry. So.
Oh yeah, that's one of the reasons I actually ended up getting Foundry. Is I found that they had the Blades in the Dark, Band of Blades, and Scum and Villainy.
Scum and Villainy is really good. I have that. It's one of the first games I ran here in Minnesota when I got my budding gaming group, which was only 3 of us, me as a GM and 2 players. That's how my group started. And then my coworkers were like, I heard you're a GM. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, Bobby, my coworker, the guy that worked with me in IT, he was like, I hear you GM D&D. And I was like, well, I GM Pathfinder. And he's like, oh, what's that? And so, he was looking for a group. He didn't have a group. And his oldest son plays with us sometimes. He's 14. He's a good kid. I like him a lot. And then my boss at the time, we were walking to lunch, and he kind of drops back from the main group. There's like 6 of us going to lunch. And he drops back and he starts talking to me about, what's this role playing? What's D&D? He starts asking all these in-depth questions. And I'm like, Anthony, his name's Anthony. I'm like, I could explain it to you, but to be honest, it's just better if you come by and sit in on a session and watch. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah. It's not going to make any sense me explaining it to you. The best explanation I can give is take your favorite fantasy or sci-fi novel and put yourself in the role of the main character, and you get to decide everything that happens. Would you do it the same way they did it in the novel, or would you do it a different way? And you figure that out by using dice. The dice will say either you can or you can't do it. And he's like, he just had more questions. I was like, dude, just come by the house on Friday night. I'll have a character ready for you, and you'll play. And he took to it like a fish to water. He hasn't missed a week. We've been doing it for almost 2 years now, and he hasn't missed he's only missed because he had to travel for work, or it was his anniversary. And it's funny because he called me up and he's like, Friday night's game, and I'm like, yeah. And he's like, it's my anniversary, so I'm trying to get out of it. I'll let you know how. And I'm like, dude, it's your anniversary. You can miss the game for your anniversary. And he's like, well, I'm talking to her because we might celebrate Saturday. I'm like, no, dude, go do that's a big thing for you and your wife. Go do that. So I take it as a compliment that he really enjoys it. And we had COVID for like 3 weeks, so we couldn't play. So we all got together last night, and it was a blast. They were having fun.
Dude, I missed the face-to-face. I haven't face-to-face played in I don't know how long. I just refuse, I know you guys were talking about masks. I just can't go and sit at a table with a mask on.
I can't either. I refuse to go. I went to one convention where I had to wear a mask, and I was just pissed off the whole time. I was just mad the whole time.
I could do that on the computer then. If I can't see your facial expressions,
what's the
then
point?
why are we at the... Yeah. I just... No.
Yeah.
And I've been for the past... Even during COVID, I was going to volleyball tournaments. So there's all these people here. You know what? I have had it... I think I've had it twice. The second time, it was a flu.
Yeah.
The first time kicked my ass.
That's what I told Mitchell. It was like I had a glorified head cold, and I was really fatigued. That was the worst part about it. The first time, though, I thought I was going to die. I sounded like, all right, let me tell you how, I sounded horrible. In fact, my boss, I had to do a meeting with my boss, and he's like, I was supposed to present some stuff, and he's like, John, don't talk. Just nod your head and listen. Don't talk. Because I sounded so bad. And then I had a job interview with the same company that I work for. I'm a contractor. I don't actually work for the company, but I was interviewing for a permanent position with the company, and it was right in the middle of me having COVID. I had to reschedule because I couldn't talk. you know. And so yeah, it kicked my ass the first time. Second time, glorified head cold, you know. That's all it was. Except for the fatigue. The fatigue is still kicking my ass.
Oh, it kills. Even when you get the shot,
Yeah.
it's a day of just, oh my
Yeah.
God, I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
Both me and my wife got the shot at the same time, and we both just laid in bed for a day, going, oh my God, this sucks. But for me, I had it really bad for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
The first
Me
time,
too. Yeah.
lost 25 pounds.
3 weeks.
But I didn't have the lung COVID. I had the stomach COVID, so it was coming out both ends for me. It was, oh dude,
I had it in
couldn't
the
keep
lungs.
anything
I
down.
had that cough, that just horrible. Mitchell, I don't
Oh, I
think you've
got
had it,
cough.
right? Because you have health issues. You don't want
You
it.
know, I've been quarantining like a motherfucker for these past years. I've been doing pretty good.
Yeah, and you want to keep it that way, I bet. So.
Yeah, I can't risk it.
So Tom, you're not going to any game conventions either, then?
No, like Gen Con is in 2 weeks. I'm doing online, and
You're
it's
going to
been
do Gen
fun.
Con. You should. You know what? I think I'm going to set up a separate interview with you after Gen Con to talk about it. Just so, because a lot of people don't know anything about it. So it'd be nice.
I've been loving it since COVID because I went 1 year and said I would never go back because
It's too crowded.
There's
too many fucking people.
No, it's not that. It's the price. Like the hotels. Normally, the hotels there you can get for $125.
Yeah, they go up to $350.
$350 because the 1 year they changed the date on Gen Con, and the hotels didn't know, and I got a room for $125 for Gen Con, and then when they realized that Gen Con changed the date, they ejected the reservation, and I was like, that's it. I will never go back there again because it's too expensive, and I don't like I GM for Pathfinder. I'm a Pathfinder GM. There's no way I'm doing that there and getting a room free because they put 4 of us in a room. I'm not sleeping with a stranger.
Yeah.
I don't even like. I mean, I put a pillow between me and my wife because I like my own area.
What he's really saying, he doesn't like his wife. So.
No, she's no. It's
That's also
I like
part of the
my
reason I've
space.
gone.
Right. Tom, I'm the same way, buddy. I'm the same way. Don't feel bad.
But I wanted to go, and I spent a hell of a lot of money. I went, had a blast, dude. Don't get me wrong. Gen Con is a blast. I never left the Sagamore Hall, or Sagamore Hall,
right?
Because I lie. I went and played Shadowrun twice. Right. But dude, I played 3 games a day for all 3 days. I mean, you know how I am.
Yeah.
If I'm going there, I'm going to game.
Right.
I don't care about the hall, and I game. So, and it's like the same thing with PaizoCon. I've gone twice to PaizoCon.
I want to go to Paizo, but I haven't been. That's in Washington, right? Or Seattle?
Right.
It's in Washington.
It's Seattle. Yeah, that's the same
Redmond,
thing.
Right?
Yeah, it's literally a half a block from the airport. So you could literally walk. I didn't know it, but you could walk out of the hotel, out of the airport, and walk to the hotel.
Nice.
Because the stewardess on my flight, because I upgraded to first class, and I have this big water bottle, I have this big cup, and when the stewardess came by, I handed it to her. I said, "You just go ahead and fill that with water, and it'll save you time." And I laughed because when I got to the hotel through the taxi, they were staying at the same hotel, and I was like, and they were leaving, and I go, "How did you get here so fast?" And they're like, "Oh, we just walk." I was like, "How? Tell me how." And I was like, "Oh my God, dude."
After spending your $20 cab ride.
And the time to wait for it.
Yeah.
But if I suggest PaizoCon once they had a limited number this year face to face.
Yeah.
But it's a blast.
My only problem is I'd have to fly because I'm in Minnesota, and I just don't want to fly anymore. I hate flying. I get sick every time I fly because you're in this metal tube breathing recycled air. You know.
Yeah. Well, for you, I would go to ScalCon then. ScalCon is pretty close to Paizo. It's a lot of the same people that you're going to find.
ScalCon, you mean?
ScalCon.
I've never heard of it.
Check it out. It's scalcon.com.
Is it SK
if you
or
can't
SC?
find it, SKALCON.
I'll have to check it out.
It's up there.
I went to Madison last year. I went to I can't even think of the name of it now. I didn't have a good time, but I had to wear a mask, and I was just pissed off the whole time. And I drove. It was 5.5 hour drive. Because it's in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm in Duluth, Minnesota, and Superior, Wisconsin is literally a 3-minute bridge. I just go over a bridge, and I'm in Wisconsin. So I'm right there I'm on the Great Lakes. So, I got the Superior Bay on one side, and then of course the Great Lake on the other side, and Lake Superior. I can look at Lake Superior right out my window of my house. So, we have SkaCon here, or SkullCon, which is down in the cities. Minneapolis is about 2 hours.
Yeah, that's it. ScalCon. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, that's in Minneapolis. That's only 2 hours away from me.
Yeah, dude, I've gone there twice because I used to go with my Pathfinder. He was in charge of the Pathfinder Society in this area, so he took me. I went with him because he's got a bunch of friends up there.
Yeah.
And dude, we had a blast.
I'm gonna
because it used to be.
I'm gonna try and go maybe this year then, because my wife and I go to the cities almost
to
once a
October
month.
2nd.
Oh, I may not be able to go because I'm going to be at Ostacon October 7th through the 9th, I believe. Ostacon is a gaming convention that's put on in Austin, Minnesota. Austin, Minnesota is famous, and a shout out to everybody at Ostacon because they're awesome people. It's to raise money for autism, and for those that don't know, my son is autistic. He's on the spectrum. So he's in a special school and everything. But Ostacon is a great little con, and they haven't had it for the last 2 years. They had a virtual con, which I didn't go to. But yeah, we're going this year. We've already got our hotel and everything booked, and I bought my ticket. My wife usually doesn't go. She may walk around, but she doesn't. My wife's a non-gamer, so she'll take my son to, like, my wife's a director for the YMCA. So she has access to all of the YMCAs across the country. So she'll go to the local YMCA. They have a really nice one. But Austin, Minnesota is famous because it's the home of the Spam Museum. So
really? That's
Spam.
cool.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm going. I've already, one of the days I'm there, we're going to the Spam Museum because they have a Spam store and you can buy all the different types of Spam.
Dude, you got to take some videos so you can post it on.
I will.
On here.
Yeah, I'll totally do it. Yeah, I got my son. He was small at the last time we went, so I got him a little Spam T-shirt, powered by Spam or something, and I got a couple postcards of Spam stuff. So yeah, it's really cool. I think we still have a few cans left. We bought like 5-6 cans the last time we went, but it's a cool convention. It's a small one, probably 700 people max, but. It's a good time, so I'm definitely going to that. But I don't think I'm going to go back to the other one that was in Madison because, like I said, like you, I had to wear a mask, and I was just pissed off the whole time because I couldn't understand anybody because, So, and you like say, you can't see their face.
Do it on my computer then.
Yeah, I might as well have just done it on the computer, and they were doing that. They had the virtual con going on. Mitchell, you must do a lot of virtual stuff.
A little bit, yeah. Not quite as much as one might think.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I just skip it. I'll end up getting the news anyway.
Yeah.
Of what's going on there.
Yeah, I think I wanted to go. I heard about SkaCon 2 years ago, and then COVID hit. So I was planning on going, and then COVID hit, and so they were like, "Man, well, that ain't happening." And then just there. Speaking of little munges, comes in babbling about lightning. And you want to say hi to everybody? Can you come here? You gotta hold on, turn around. I gotta lift you up. You're getting too big.
Hey, buddy.
Say hi, Tom.
This little dude.
Hi, Mitchell.
A soapy bottle.
Say hi, Mitchell.
Hi, Mitchell.
He's got a soapy bottle. See, this is when you have kids, don't buy all those expensive toys. Recycle.
When they under the liquid.
And you show him your name. He's got his name on there. It's his soapy bottle. Just a little bit of water, clean water, and a couple of drops of dishwasher soap. Kid's happy.
Back in my day, we didn't have any fancy schmancy soapy bottles. We
That's
had
right.
a stick.
We had a
Two
stick,
sticks and a rock for the whole group.
and we were
We had
happy.
to share the rock.
Yeah, we had to share the rock. And if you broke the stick, you were a jerk.
Oh yeah, you were out of the group.
You were out of the group. You gonna put the lid on it? Yeah.
Shake it.
All right, guys. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Hopefully, I realized
Sounds
the
good.
audio might have been slightly foobarred, so we'll see. But we'll do it again. I used to do this once a month, and I want to get back into it because
All right.
everybody has their thing, their collection that they like, and I think it's nice to see other people's point of view of different
So we
games.
can shake it.
He wants to shake my soda up. No, you're not shaking my soda up. You shake your soapy bottle. Go play in the traffic. I love you.
Don't want to play in the
I don't want to play in
Okay.
the traffic.
Go play in the traffic. But he knew what it Go.
Oh, he took off. Yeah. Or the other one I'll go is, you want a punch in the throat? He goes, I want a punch in the throat. So I go, whoosh, and he just giggles. he thinks it's fun. I'm getting tired, guys. It was a lot of
Alrighty.
fun. Mitchell, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Tom, great
Nice
to
to
catch
meet
up
you,
with
Mitchell.
No problem.
Great to catch up with you. I'm thinking of running Warhammer Online, so I'll give you a holler if I do. I have all the stuff
Yeah.
for it on Foundry, so I just haven't had a chance to run it. So I definitely.
Hey, John. By the way, I've messaged the guy that wrote the Warhammer mod.
Yeah.
Remember, I was asking about the spells and the opposed roll. Well, there's a down arrow
Yeah.
on the chat window. You click on that, and it's the unopposed button.
And then that
So
way
I
it won't
told-
ask you if it's
Yeah.
an opposed roll, because most of the rolls in Warhammer are opposed. So,
Yeah.
so that's why it's just a feature of the programming and how they wrote it. It's easier to say all rolls are opposed and then create a button that says this is not an opposed roll, as opposed to.
Yep.
So yeah, that's cool. I'm glad it worked out. And you have to get me a list of his mods he's using.
Yeah, I messaged him. He runs. He does Uber driving, so
Oh geez, he's busy. So.
it might be not till Monday because weekends is his busy time.
Oh yeah, make some money. Yeah, believe it or not, we have a lot of Uber drivers up here too, because a lot of guys with trucks, 4-wheel drives and stuff because of the snow.
Oh yeah.
It's not unusual for us to get 2 feet of snow in a night, and then people can't go anywhere. So the Uber, people make money by Ubering, which it's cool. I have a big SUV, so I don't have any. I haven't been stuck yet. So
We got that same problem down here. The water's just not frozen.
yeah, yeah.
And we have that problem here. We have the melting tires.
Yeah, yours is called sand. The haboob. What a fucking made up word that shit was. Anyway, I won't get on that. Mitchell, sir, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Tom, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yep.
We're gonna sign off here. We've just been bullshitting. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope the audio came out all right. I'll look at it in the morning. I'll get this posted tomorrow morning. As always, everybody, peace and hair grease. And remember, as always, Mr. Mean says be nice.